Hi, I'm Barrett. We're cooking tigernut cake today with quinces from my new book, Sustain. Well, quinces are very seasonal and sometimes you want them to last a little bit longer, so we're going to preserve them in honey today. When you cook them in the honey, they go really jammy. You can't really eat quinces raw. They're really fibrous. Once you do preserve them in the honey, they'll last for years. So I'm just going to take the core out. And some of the flavours that go really well with quince are orange. But if you've never cooked quinces before, this is a really good introduction. So I'm just going to arrange them in the bottom of a deep pan and then covering the quinces in the honey. Add some orange juice. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. Then I'm going to cook it over a low heat. So let the quinces simmer on the stove for a couple of hours until they look like this. They're chilled and they're kind of like candy. You could just eat that as it is. Tiger nuts have been my latest discovery that have been around for centuries and has been a really nice way to reduce sugar and sweetness and gluten. They're a tuber. So they grow under the base of a grass, and for the tiger nut cake we use the flour to kind of bind it and the sweetness to add that tenderness in the cake. So to make the cake we're going to use 3 eggs and separate them. This cake is gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, even though it's a tiger nut. It's actually a tuber. And sugar-free because we're just using honey, kind of making a bit of a mayonnaise base for this cake. Then I'm going to whisk those egg yolks and honey together till they're emulsified. So I'm going to start to drizzle in some oil. I love this bit because it changes so much. So we're looking for that oil to emulsify into the egg yolks and honey. And the best thing is because there's no gluten in this cake, you can't really overmix it. So once that's combined, I'm going to add the tiger nut flour. Now the raising agent for this is going to be the egg white. Because the tiger nut is a tuber, it's very similar to potato flour. So when you do grind it up and make the flour, the really fine particles are what makes the cake stick together, and then all those little chunks give it a really nice texture. We're going to whisk the eggs to soft peaks and then straight away fold half of it into the tiger nut. And the reason why you want to fold them in pretty quickly is because they're really soft and tender. If you over whisk that, that's how your cake's going to get tough. Once the colour of the tiger nut cake becomes a little bit more even, then we're going to fold in the rest of the egg white. You can leave it a little bit undermixed because by the time we pour it into our pan, that will fold the rest of the egg white in. And then always the best part is just arranging your quinces on top. You can use any seasonal fruit, maybe some pears, or we've just picked some rhubarb. Then I'm going to pop that into our preheated oven and bake it for about half an hour. So you know the cake is ready when it's firm to touch and springy. It's got a nice caramelized colour and it smells really delicious. You know what? I didn't measure, but it's really yummy.